Did it went in?
Oh yeah. Dandelion, 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 dandelion. She just wanna suck me, turbo granny. Put it with a bad yo Kai and yeah, my girl a baddie. Dandelion, 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 dandelion. Spaceship shit with your bitch. Jump plus, put the yen times 10. Watch me transform like I'm Ken Tucker. Pull up with a stick like it's Gintama. Pull up with a form, she look like Madaka. Made me think you fooly, that little stupid vodka.
I see us together in the future, her head on my Mario bra. Grab it all up on my dick, get her under control. Everywhere I go, she gon' go.
Sup, we are back with another video. Judging by how there's few chapters and I didn't cover them, I'm just gonna quickly summarize each chapter. So chapter 23 is about Nancy, aka the Loch Ness monster the Sapporo hired. If you wanna know more about Nancy, I will leave a video about it in the description. But Nancy wasn't listening to anyone and started attacking everyone. I just want to know that the ceiling and the walls was turned into water. The gag worker power increased underwater, but he couldn't breathe underwater. Ken is useless and wasn't able to run. He doesn't have any solid ground to run on. But Momo found a way to make Ken useful by using him as a paddleboard. Momo and Ken saved Oria, who was drowning. Meanwhile, the Sapporo and the gag worker was getting away from Nancy. Soon after, the Sapporo had enough of this. He used his toolkit to turn himself, the gag worker, and Nancy into something. That's the end of chapter 23. Chapter 24 is about this. I got no idea what to call it, but I'm gonna call it Supposy. So Supposy can use all the powers of who they were, and also it seems that Nancy was able to absorb water into its gills to fire off a high beam laser. Then they tried to seal off the gills but by using all your powers, but Supposy used the gag worker powers to defend itself against it. Soon after, Momo fell into the water and Supposy was able to attack her. But she spaced out the water, making the area around them free from water to cause the arms of the Supposy to rip off, because the gag worker could only throw high-speed punches underwater, not on land. If he did, his arm would have ripped off just like now. So Ken and Oria used this chance to make road for Ken to go all out by using Oria hair. Ken ran so fast that he cut the Supposy. After the defeat of the Supposy, Oria and Momo was catching their breath and thanking the floor. But I wonder, did it went in? But anyways, reality check. Everyone in the class saw Momo and Ken and Oria naked, so they ran into the nurse's office. So the nurse was questioning them, but got a phone call, so she had to leave the room. Oria and Momo was freaking out because the entire school saw them naked. But then, Ken started talking about the aliens that attacked them. Ken told Momo that most likely they will be after her, since she's just like him. But Momo said if they after ghosts, so why don't they go after the ghost directly? But Ken told them that there is an argument that if aliens had such a great technology and science, why haven't they invaded Earth? So Ken told them that it's it's the ghosts over the world are protecting the world from an alien invasion. Even with the science and technology, they can't beat the ghosts. This is why they have to target people just like Ken and Oria to study them so they can make technology to beat the ghosts. Ken also wondered if the aliens stole his balls, but Oria and Momo wasn't worried about that. They were more worried about the whole school seeing them naked. Oria was gonna put the blame on Momo for her being naked, which is true technically, but Oria and Ken started talking about him and Oria in the courtyard. She told him to explain himself with what had happened between Oria and him. So he did, and that's the end of this chapter. Fairies, I feel like the nurse might get involved or Momo's grandmother is calling her. If not, the nurse might get involved. Fairy 2, we might get a next guest to show. I am not sure if they're gonna help or they might be a villain. Fairy 3, Ken, Oria and Momo is gonna train to use their powers more. Anyway, that's all for this video. Sorry if the audio is kind of scuffy. I'm not outside, but I'm there and everybody's making noise, so it's like it's so hard. So anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye.